Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And I just wanted to do a quick response to the video that was done by the elder Manat Zakba. Now, I believe he did a follow-up on this, but I just started watching the first one he did. It was a live stream entitled Hebrew Israelites, What Do Women Have to Look Forward to in a Kingdom of Multiple Wives? And I'm a few minutes in, and he was reading a comment that was left by this woman, addressing her concerns about basically how would it be a kingdom of heaven per se, where everybody is happy, including the women, if they're going to have to deal with seeing their man with other women, X, Y, and Z. And, like I said, I'm only a few minutes in, but, the Spirit just jumped on me to do a response on it. And so maybe I may bring up certain points that may have already been touched on, but, Lord willing, it'll still be edifying anyway. Now, the first thing, as I'm listening to this, and it's pretty much the same point that the elder is making, which is that when you think about the kingdom of heaven, it's not here. It's not Babylon. It's not this age. It's not this era. Okay, it's going to be a different kingdom. Okay, meaning that, number one, the way that you think is going to be different, because the scriptures tell you that the Lord is going to change, our bodies, we're going to be basically made perfect. Okay, so that includes your mindset, right? That new heart, that includes your mindset. And keep in mind that you cannot look into the kingdom through the lens of America, as a matter of fact, if you really think about it, some of the things that that women did, or the ways that women lived in the ancient world, women today can't fathom that. Okay, but at some point it happened, and if you were to go back and may remember your past life when you lived in the ancient world, you wouldn't have been bugging out. It was normal for you. One, because that's how society was. That's how you were raised. It's something we always have to keep in mind is it's difficult for our people today to imagine a different, manner and custom and way of living, because you've been raised and influenced a certain kind of way. So anything that's like a natural thing. Anything that deviates from something that you are used to is strange. And it's hard to imagine, yourself living a certain kind of way if the way you've been living your entire life, or the things that you've been raised to think your entire life, are, even as far as to say opposite. So when you think about the kingdom, you can't think of it as, like you're going to be in the same mental state that you're in right now. That's not how it's going to work, And as a matter of fact, the scriptures tell us that when you are, like even in the kingdom, you're going to have the lamb and the wolf dwelling together and all of that. That's hard to imagine now, because it's not, that's the complete opposite. Okay. But it's about the way that you're raised. Remember, when children, are born, they don't know per se, hey, this is how I'm supposed to live, or this is what I'm supposed to do. There are certain natural things that, is just innate within us. But in terms of what's normal and what's not, that's based on how they're nurtured and raised. That's why you have different cultures. And that's why when you go to a foreign culture, they may be behaving strangely, but to them it's perfectly normal. That's how they were raised. Okay, so in the kingdom, you're not going to be thinking this way. Now, let me actually read the comment, part of the comment that was left here, and we can address it a bit, because it's, once again, you're trying to look at life in the kingdom through the lens of life here. and you're trying to make that comparison, but you have been accustomed to this life. So the comment says, I am trying to figure out what will the women have to look forward to. The men are looking forward to all these beautiful women having multiple wives, and the men say this is how a king should live. But how will the woman be treated like a princess and feel like one? How do a woman supposed to feel like a princess when he is treating all these women like a princess as well? I just don't see how this will work. I don't see how the women will deal with this. How we will always compare ourselves to the other wives. Now, before I go on with this, once again, if this was happening here today, this is how you would feel. You would compare yourself to the other women. You would think, yo, I don't want him. Like, how am I supposed to sleep at night knowing that, he's pleasing another woman the same way or even better than he's pleasing me? And then it makes you all jealous, and then you all get all bitter and all of that. That's because of the mindset you're in. That's because we're in this flesh, and we've been raised a certain kind of way. That's not going to be the same way in the kingdom. Now, think about this, right? Number one, 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9, but as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man, the things which God hath prepared for them that love him, which are ultimately going to be revealed in the kingdom, right? And like the elder mentioned this as well, we know certain aspects, but we don't know the exact details of what the kingdom is going to be like, okay? So what you're imagining the kingdom is going to be like is not what it's going to be like, okay? Because anything we can imagine in this time is going to be tainted by our perception of life now. Okay? We don't even know what it's actually like to experience true life in this lifetime because we haven't. You can't imagine something you haven't experienced before because whatever you're imagining will be based on what you have experienced before. It's like trying to imagine a new color. You'll keep thinking about the same colors that you've already seen before, red, yellow, or what if I mix green? And you're already thinking about the same colors that you've been exposed to. You can't imagine something new and you haven't even, had any form of exposure or experience with it. So in the kingdom, you're not going to be thinking the way that you're thinking now. That's the first part right there. The second thing is when we go to the book of Revelation chapter 21, verse 4, it reads, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So in the book of Revelation 21, pain, crying, sorrow, death, these are all described as being a part of the former things which are going to be passed away. Meaning in the kingdom, we're not going to be experiencing these things. So how is that going to be true? And at the same time, men are going to have multiple wives. And at the same time, their wives are not going to be experiencing pain and sorrow and all of these things, or really grief. Clearly, there has to be some switch has to go on there, right? Because based on the comment over here, or even in society today, man, honestly, it doesn't matter what the woman says. It's built within them. In this flesh, on this side, they are going to be jealous. It does not matter. Even if she tries to convince herself that she's not, naturally within her, she's going to feel that way. Okay? Because that's just, how that's our punishment, pretty much. Having to live on this side this way. Okay? But you're worried about, being compared to another wife, not getting special treatment. And these things will make you feel pain, right? They'll make you feel sorrow. They'll make you feel, a type of way. But yet we're reading in the kingdom that none of those feelings are going to, we're not going to be affected by those feelings. So what's going to be the bridge between You thinking that, okay, these conditions are going to make me feel this type of way, and yet we're saying the scriptures are saying in the kingdom these conditions are going to exist, but this feeling is not going to exist. So something got to give, right? And what's going to give is that your perception of the kingdom is not what it actually is. Okay, you're worried about the wrong thing. You don't got to worry about the kingdom like that. All right, remember, it's supposed to be a paradise for us, a joy for the whole nation of Israel. So when we're in the kingdom, like today, right? Today there are certain things that you're just like, you have to consciously try to do, or consciously try not to do, when it comes to even like keeping the laws, or following the ways of the Lord. But in the kingdom, it's going to be second nature. It's just going to be naturally within us. So let's read a little bit more. Where we at? Okay, so it says here how we will always compare ourselves to the other wives. That's not true. That's how you feel on this side, but that's not what you're gonna be doing in the kingdom. Look, when you look at these like top celebrities, or even people like Mayweather, or somebody that's just widely known, has what is considered a high status in society, and makes a lot of money. There are thousands of women that are just going crazy over them, right? And each and every one of those women know that there are another hundreds and thousands of women out there that are going crazy over this guy, right? And they know that this guy is probably already with multiple different kinds of, like he they can see it. And yet they still go crazy over this guy. Do you think that, if I'm just gonna give a typical example here, right? This guy, who he's just different, right? Let's say you're at a Drake concert and there's all these women over there and they're going crazy, right? And he calls up one of them, and then they come up and he just, like, I don't know, dances with her or some shit. And then she goes back down. And then he goes to call up another one. Or even before the first shit goes back down, she's still on stage, but he goes to call another one. Do you think that the women over there in that audience who went there because they wanted to see him, because they're fanatics of him, do you think they're going to say, he's going to pick a chick and she's going to pull back her hand and say, nope, I'm not interested. You already got a chick up on stage, and I want to feel special. I don't want to be a second on there with another chick. Hell no. Number two, right, that's just one scenario. The second scenario is, okay, you may say, well, that's just like calling somebody up on stage. What if you knew this guy Drake already has a wife and a kid, but he DMs you saying what's up, and you know legitimate that it's him? Do you think at that point women are going to stop and say, he already has a wife and kid, and I'm not going to feel special. He's like, I'm going to fly you out to whatever. I'm not going to feel special. And that's you can open up their mind like a binder or a folder. You're not going to find that page in there. They're not worried about that, because the fact that him, with who they see him as, is even giving them attention is all they really care about. They don't give a damn if there's like 20 or 30 other women over there. Their mindset is, look, I'm worried about me. I'm happy about my interaction with him. Forget the rest. Right now it's about me. And that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm happy about. So, and that's just a carnal example on this side. Drake is some whack ass, in my opinion, celebrity, right? But how much more for the kingdom? You're gonna be considered one of the wives of a king, a god, somebody that was chosen and set up by the Most High, by Hashem Yahushai, and you think this is what you're gonna be worried about? That's not what you're gonna be worried about. Trust and believe that, because every time you turn around, you're going to be esteemed as one of the top elite women, because not every woman is gonna be in your position. I put it like this: us, okay, as men of the Lord, we don't get jealous, that, I'm not the Most High's favorite, or this brother, that's the Most High, he ain't giving this brother all, he give this brother all the attention, so I feel left out, or I want to be the only one who the Most High deals with. No. Okay? You're happy to be at least one of those of the special men of the Lord. You're not worried about, well, why can't there be only one man of the Lord, and why can't it be me? If that's the case, then none of us would get shit. It would just be Yahushai. But we're glad that we can even be partakers of that circle because of how special Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is. Okay? I'll give you another example, and then we'll keep on going with this. And the point that I'm trying to drive home is you gotta keep in mind the value, okay? The value of this. You're thinking about it from, unfortunately, because of how things are the way they are, women don't see, especially if you're with a man of the Lord, I mean, you should, but you're not seeing the full value of who this man is just yet, because we're still on this side. And if you take a regular relationship in the world, to the woman, that's just another guy, but she's with him because in this society, she likes him. Not that she needs him. A lot of these women today, it's not about them needing their man. They want to be with him. So that's why they're there. And because of that, they don't see him as anything more special than how they feel about him. So it's kind of like saying, oh, well, if I went to the store and there was only one plastic spoon and somebody already picked it up, I'm not going to fight with you over this plastic spoon. I'll just go find another one. I can just go to another store and then go get another one. Why? Because it's just a plastic spoon. And that's all you see it as. Well, I mean, why am I going to fight with somebody to try and share one plastic spoon if I could just go get another plastic spoon anywhere? I can walk into a bodega and see if they got one. Now, let's switch up that scenario a bit, and let's say instead of this being a plastic spoon, what if this was, I don't know, the last, the last edition of this like special vacuum cleaner you've been looking for a long ass time, or let's say this was like a gold bar or something of high value that you can't just get anywhere else. Now, and we play back that scenario. What you think is going to happen? You're going to walk up into that aisle, you're going to see a fight going on because they're fighting over that one thing. You know why? Because it's not a plastic spoon. It's not something that you're like, oh, whatever, you can just have it. I don't want it anymore because you already have it. Hell to the no. They're like, look, shit, we how about you use the vacuum on Tuesdays, I use the vacuum on Thursdays. At least we both get a piece of that vacuum. Why? Because the value of that thing, okay, that you're looking for is very, very high. So you're not worried. As long as you can get access to it, you're good. Okay? So anyway, let's go back to what's being said here. So it says here, how we would have to know our husband made love to other women. We will never feel special, and the men never seem to have an answer about this topic or care to explain. Well, we explain it now, and like I said, your concerns. I mean, your concerns are valid from a perspective of a Babylonian lifestyle or a lifestyle in this age, but that's not the case for a lifestyle in the kingdom. Okay, you're gonna feel that, damn, I don't feel special because I know my man is dealing with another woman because of how you are living in this time in the kingdom. Look, let me put it like this, right? Here's another example. And examples are good, because they can give you. You take a situation that is hard to imagine. You take another situation that's similar. You show how that situation is similar, and now you can say, oh, okay, I can see how this makes a bit more sense. So let's take another example, right? Let's see. I just had this. It's in my mind now, so it'll come back. Wow, that's unfortunate. All right, maybe it'll come back at some point. But anyway, let's read. Let's keep on reading. So you're saying here, how would? Oh, there you go. It's back to Wadiya Basham Yal Shai. So what I was gonna say is today, because number one, we're under the curses. Number two, we're not perfect. Okay, and three, we're subject to the flesh. So you have something called temptation, right? And temptation, is just one hell of a drug, right? But regardless of how mentally strong you are, temptation is temptation. Okay. And in most cases, it's a temptation because typically it's a situation where, you know, you don't want, if you notice, temptation is always correlated for the most part with something that you shouldn't do, but you feel like something is trying to make you do something that you shouldn't do. And that's typically what you call temptation. That's why even in the Lord's Prayer, we pray to be delivered, from temptation, right? So in this society, there may be situations that will arise that will tempt you, to maybe think a certain way or do something or whatever the case is. And it's we know it's like demons that try to plague your mind or try to play on your desires and all of that. And you know that you shouldn't be thinking that way, or you know that you shouldn't do such a thing. All right. But I'll use one of the main common examples, which is adultery. And you say, why does somebody that knows they shouldn't commit adultery end up doing it anyway? Because they were tempted. Maybe they didn't do it right away. Maybe they tried to resist. And over time, they gave in to the temptation because the feeling was there. They know they shouldn't do it, but the feeling of, and they know they should stay away, but the feeling of, shit, was there, right? And then eventually they gave in. In the kingdom, that feeling won't exist. Okay? In the kingdom, when the Lord makes us perfect, you will not have a feeling of, you see a woman that's not, that's betrothed or that's married or whatever, and there's still, a chance to be tempted if she comes and says something to you, or if you see her in a certain way and that, whatever the case is, you feel a kind of way where now you have to basically tell yourself to stay away. You got to resist that. You won't even have any urge in such a way in the kingdom. You're not going to feel that way. You're not going to see another man's woman and have to tell yourself, yo, lower your gaze, or don't look at her. She's another. It's like nobody has to tell you, I mean, and this is just like, for example's sake, right? But like, you don't look at your sister and be like, you lucky you, my sister, like that's just weird. It's just a weird ass thing. Your mind wouldn't think like that. You won't look at your sister or your mother and be like, damn, you know what I mean? But, you my mom's or you my sister, so I ain't even going to think that way about you. And please, 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 if you do, you need to immediately pray and fast. Okay? That's just crazy. Okay? But that's the point, right? You wouldn't look at your sister like that. You wouldn't look at your mom like that. Nobody has to tell you, hey, there's a law that you shouldn't, there's a law that you shouldn't, but nobody has to tell you that. Naturally, you would feel that way, like, nobody needs to, I don't even need to remind myself to say no, right? Well, think of it like that. In the kingdom, you're not going to need to have to resist a temptation of looking lustfully after another man's woman. But yet, in today's society, you need to do that. Because it's almost like an innate feeling because of the weak flesh that we're in, number one, and because of the way society is today, number two. But why did I bring that up? I brought that up to highlight the point that just like on this side, there's a certain kind of way you will feel about certain things, and yet in the kingdom, you won't even feel that way at all, and it's hard to even imagine that, right? You thinking, wait, man, the kingdom is going to have the baddest chicks we've ever seen. And you telling me that I see a chick, but I ain't even going, damn, that's crazy. But there's going to be. You look at women today, you're like, yo, disrespectful as hell, unruly, wild. I was watching this video yesterday by this brother, his YouTube handlers arrows of his indignation. He put it up, and you had this woman ranting about Section 8. Dear God, man, I was just it was painful to watch, because I'm just looking at it like, damn, like you look like you're smitten with madness. She was ranting, but it was just so unwomanlike. You have food in your mouth, talking with your mouth open, yelling and screaming, and I'm like, oh God, damn, you know, half your hair gone. It was just not looking. I'm like, yo, yeah, you know, I don't know, man, I don't know. So you look at that, and you're like, damn. These are the women that are going to be humble and meek and beautiful looking and all that in the kingdom, but it's going to happen. So the ultimate point here is, you can't look at the kingdom through the lens of your life here or how you feel here. You're not going to feel that same way in the kingdom. Okay. And like I brought out that precept in Revelation 21, how is the kingdom going to be peaceful and joyous, and you're not going to have pain and suffering, if women are going to be feeling this kind of way about their man having another woman? You're not. So you don't have to worry about that. It's hard to imagine now, but once it happens, you'll understand. But anyway, let's keep on going. It says we will never feel special. That's not true. There's a kind of specialness that you feel from, and Salaki, that I don't have a million precepts on here, but I just wanted to speak on it a little bit, right? And we speak scripturally, we speak according to the scripture, so Lord willing is still edifying. But there's a different kind of, like, there's a specialness you feel when you are the only one, and there's also a specialness you feel when you are a part of a special group. Okay, so in the kingdom, like I mentioned before, just to be known as one of the wives of such and such, that will make you special enough because of who that such and such is. If like if the Lord came back, right, and revealed, for example, to any one of us and said, hey, did you know that you were actually one of the 12 that walked with me, when I was on the earth 2,000 years ago? Do you think you're going to stop and say, wow, damn, Lord, I was one of the 12? Why wasn't I the only one, though? Why did it have to be 11 others? It couldn't just be me. It couldn't just be you and me rolling. I don't feel special, because now I know you had other disciples. I want it to be just me. Now I know obviously the relationship is not the same, but that's the point that I'm making here. Okay. It says, and the men never seem to have an answer about this topic or care to explain, just like the men don't want to share. We have that same spirit on us. You have that same spirit on you now, just like you have the spirit of committing adultery on you now, just like we have the spirit of having an evil eye towards your brother now. That's why you have the spirit of going off and not following the ways of the Heavenly Father on you now. You have the spirit of not being shamefaced on you now. But just like you have it now, the Lord can take that off of you. Because once upon a time, we weren't always like this. And yet, here we are now, right? So, once upon a time, we're not going to be like this. If you were to take somebody from the ancient world and bring them here today, they would be in shock. They couldn't possibly imagine that people would feel the way they feel today. There was a video that came out. There was this woman. She recorded a video, put it up. She's talking about, she's upset that she's with her man now because she wants to go out there and explore and take a beating from different BBCs and different men and all that shit. She wants that, but now she can't because she's with her man. Please tell me, if you were to bring somebody from the ancient world over here, they would be shocked to hear something like that. They couldn't believe it. In their minds, they would be like, how is that possible? Like, how could somebody think like that or even feel that way and be okay with it? Well, think of the reverse. Now you're looking at the future in the kingdom and thinking, how is that possible? Like, how could somebody think that way and feel that way and be okay with it? But it's all based on the spirit the Lord puts on you. Because guess what? Some of those same women that would have felt that way in the ancient world, they're here doing the same thing. So, where we at? So just like the men don't want to share, we have the same spirit on us, not wanting to share. Do you know that there are some women in certain countries now that they have, obviously they live in a society where they have one man and there's multiple wives. And they actually don't feel this way. But why is that? Because they didn't have to deal with a change in mindset. This was always the mindset. This is how they were taught and brought up and raised. So this has always been normal to them. Okay? Once again, it's like trying to tell a woman who was raised by a single mom, and her mom was like upset at her father because he left or whatever the case is, and she was just raised to just fend for herself and be her own and whatever, and she's been out in the streets and all of these things. Now imagine trying to tell that woman, you're supposed to serve your man or cook for your man, take care of him. She's gonna look at you like, what? I ain't serving no man. I ain't cooking for no man. You crazy as hell. Why would anybody want to do that? Because she was raised differently. Now take a woman who was raised from her youth, taught and told every day, this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to cook. When you get married, this is what you do. This is how you take care of your man. This is what you do. You respect him. You take care of him. You do it. When she sees the reverse, she sees the woman here who is wilding out, she's going to be surprised. Like, oh shit, how are you, like, you don't want to cook for your man? You don't want to take it? Whoa, that's kind of weird. Because the upbringing is different. Okay? And so, like I said, like those women over there that have a single man and there's like multiple of them, they don't have to necessarily worry about that because they were raised that way. So to them it's normal. Okay? Just like if somebody brought freaking, like, them wild menus that these Moabites be eating, squid and like, I don't know, some weird ass animals, rats and shit, and you look at that and you want to throw up. To them they don't, because it's normal. Okay, that's the difference right there. It's normal. That's their culture. That's how they were raised. So in the kingdom it's going to be normal. Where we at? How does one woman supposed to feel love from a man who's loving on multiple women? Also, the man get the chance to try different. Let me move forward a bit. So I assume this would be either variety or variance, but I would assume maybe variety, right? So how also the man gets to try different variety of women while the woman has to stay with one man. What if we are not happy? If the man is not happy, he can find another wife and another. But if I'm not happy, I have to try to get picked by another man and still compare myself to the other women, which, like the elder mentioned, that's not the case. Once you're married to your man, that's your husband for life, and we're going to live forever. So, and it's not about, like he says here, right? Like, if the man is not happy, he can find another wife. Well, in the kingdom, the man is going to be happy. Why would a man not be happy being in a relationship with a woman? Well, if you look at society today, it'll give you all the reasons. How she acts, what she does, maybe she steps out on him, like the attitude, or whatever that case is. But if she's in line and she's doing what she's supposed to do, of course she's going to be happy with her. And guess what? In the kingdom, she's going to be in line and do what she's supposed to do. So he's always going to be happy with her. So he's not going to get to a point where he's like, I'm unhappy with you now. You can go somewhere else. Let another man take you. Another man can't take you because he took you and he's your husband and he's alive and he's immortal. And so long as he's alive, you and him are going to be together. But you see, like, this dynamic, this thought process is based on what happens here today, right? Here, something happens, you guys have a fight or whatever the case is. Oh, he's upset, and then, but you're thinking like from that angle, he's upset, but he can just go and get somebody else, and now here you are, you stuck. But that's not how it's going to be in the kingdom. Or else it wouldn't be the kingdom of heaven if we're going to have to deal with the same shit that we deal here or that we deal with here, but you're just at a disadvantage for it. It says here, and still compare myself to the other women. The kingdom is also for the look. You're not gonna be trying to compare yourself to other women. It's like, how do I put this? If you really think about it, on a normal tip, you don't want to really be somebody else. Like when you have people that are like jealous of others, they're not jealous like of the person themselves. They're more so jealous about the person's situation or what the person has, rather rank or status or favor with somebody. That's what they're jealous of, but not the person themselves. Some cases it may go as far as to be jealous of the person themselves, but I don't know about you, but I don't want to be anybody else. You may look at somebody and say, damn, this person is like, they're nice, with this, or they're like, they're like a really good boxer. You might want to be as good as them, but you don't want to be them themselves. Like you don't want to like swap bodies with them and be them. That's a different level right there, if that's what you want, but you don't necessarily want to be them. Okay. And so take somebody that does something that what you do is completely different. Like what you like, maybe you're a basketball player, you like basketball, right? You're into that stuff. And the next person is like a baseball player. They like it and they're into that stuff. You're not going to look at them and say, I'm jealous of you. Like, I want to do what you do. No, because you're not into baseball. You're into basketball. That's what you do. So even if you and this person and somebody else all got picked to be like the best athletes in the world, you're not concerned about, why the next person also got picked. They got picked because of baseball. You got picked because of basketball. So you don't got to worry about them, just like you're going to look at these other women and you're not going to be like, oh, like this is competition of like, he picked you too, well, what's so good about you, that he couldn't get in me, that he wanted to pick you too. Like I said, that is a mindset based on this age. But the Lord is going to change all of that. Like we read in Revelation 21, that's a part of the former things that are going to pass away. And guess what, man? Guess what? It's really going to start here, because when all hell breaks loose and now it comes down to like life and death and Isaiah 4:1 kicks in, you understand why Isaiah 4:1 is written. You're going to be glad, as a matter of fact, that it's written in there. Because when all hell is breaking loose and you find a man you trust and believe, you're not worried about how he's looking or what other women are with him. You're like, look, if he's the one that can protect me and provide for me, I'm there. You know what I mean? I'm there. I don't care if there's 10, 20 other women. I'm there because I want to be provided for and I want to be protected. And once you see the transition from this world to the kingdom, all this that you're talking about and thinking is going to go out the window very quickly. Okay? You're not going to see Yahweh's chariot and get beamed up, see the destruction of this place. Your body is changed. Like like everything in the world is pretty much changing. And you're going to be worried about, your man having another woman. That's not going to be what's on your mind. Well, if you were teleported into the kingdom, maybe, I don't know, 1,000 years from now, and you saw just the glory of the kingdom, you're not going to be worried that your man has another woman. That's not what your worry is going to be. You're going to be so excited to even just be able to be, in that kingdom, in that position. All that is going to fade away. Rich men don't worry about this. The women of rich men don't worry about this, because they got everything they want and they know they get it because they're with him. And plus, they're concerned about their relationship with him. The attention he gives them. That's good enough for them. Let me see if there's a bit more in here. All right, let me go back here. All right, so let me just finish this off here. The kingdom is also for the women to have peace as well. How can a woman be at peace if she's constantly comparing herself to the other? Well, you're assuming that she's going to be doing that. But like we read, in the book of Revelation and also in Isaiah, you are imagining a kingdom based on your perception now. The Most High's kingdom is not based on your imagination or your perception or what you think you're going to be doing, okay, or what you think is going to be happening. And like we also read in Revelation, it is going to be peaceful for all of us, right? So men are going to have multiple women. That's in the scriptures. But also everybody's going to be at peace. That's also in the scriptures. So I'm going to let you think about that and see what's going to happen, because it's not saying that everybody's going to be at peace because every man is going to have just one woman. And it's not saying that because men can have multiple women, some of these women are going to be, grieving about it. So something is going to be happening over here, in the kingdom. And do you not think the Most High, the Creator, understood this? I mean, He created us. He made us this way. The fact that you feel jealous or you feel like, you would compare yourself with another, that's because the Most High put that spirit on us. Right? But in the kingdom, you mean to tell me the Most High would design a kingdom like this to say that we're going to enjoy it for all eternity, but then He would leave this part within your mind to where you're going to feel this way? No, that's not going to be the case. All right. Let me see if I can find a good closing precept. If not, I'll just end it here. Let's see. Let's check maybe Isaiah. All right. Let's see. All right. Maybe I end it with this. This is Isaiah chapter 62, verse 11. Behold, the Lord Yahweh hath proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they shall call them the holy people, the redeemed of the Lord, and thou shalt be called, sought out, a city not forsaken. And that's going to be the beautiful kingdom of heaven. Okay, so trust and believe that our forefathers, the ones that followed the Lord and all of that, they wouldn't have, put everything on the line to follow the Lord for a kingdom that wouldn't be worth it. Okay, so you can put your concerns to rest and understand that the Lord has it all covered. Okay, and before we even step foot in there, when we get changed, it's going to come with a change of mindset. And all these things that you feel, they're going to fade away. And as a matter of fact, it's not going to be like you're just going to be hypnotized to not worry about it. But when you're changed, you're going to look back and think, why was I even worried about that? That was such a trivial thing to even think. But you can't see that now because, once again, this is where we are. So with that, Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.